like we've had sufficient amount of church today. So no, let me stop because Jan will come find me. So you're like, no, we have a whole service, Reverend Ray. All right, so let us begin. Man, konnichiwa, no, hola, no. Hey, Unity Center DC, what's up? It is great to see you all once again. It is great to be with you all once again. It is great to know what God is as each one of us with you again. So let's breathe, because today we're talking about this idea of taking it to the street, right? Now, if I were to ask, I guess I should apologize for those of you who may not remember or may not know, in a former lifetime, I was a public school teacher. I taught elementary and middle school. Oh, the era of kids who did not know what deodorant was. Oh, sorry. And high school and such, right? So there's this part of me that's going to, if I were to ask you to describe the current situation on planet Earth, what kind of adjectives, what kind of words might surface? If I were to say, yes or no, do we currently have peace on earth, goodwill towards all? Because our invitation is, how do we manifest it? Our invitation is to not become bound by conditions. See, the lesson of Yeshua, Jesus, was to remind us, oh yeah, you can see these things. These are experiences. Yes, this person is, quote unquote, unable to walk, unable to see, unable to hear. They don't have food. They don't have, yes. And yet, what did he tell the centurion? Oh, no, not me. It is by your faith that that person is made well. He didn't even have to say anything for the woman to come up behind him, touch the hem of his garment, and for her to feel the energy. Wait. But how was he able to do that? Because he took it to the streets. Because he was not bound by conditions where he said, oh, woe is me, for I am Jesus, but the news, Reverend Ray, what are we to do? He said, here are these conditions. And is it not written in your own scriptures that ye are gods? See, I did these things, and so can you, and even greater. So yes, we see what is going on in the world. We understand there are things that are not the divine demonstration of what we know truth to be. There are many people walking around right now, and the furthest thought and experience that they are having is knowing their own divinity, knowing their own divine magnificence. Because see, anybody who's moving around in the world and feels the need to hurt, harm, or injure another clearly does not understand that they are the embodiment, they are an individualized expression of source energy. Because if they, what did Maya Angelou say? When you know better, you do better. If they knew better, if they knew who and what they truly were, truly are, truly can do in the world, then we would have peace on earth, goodwill towards all right now. So our invitation is, how do we take it to the streets? Well, once again, I apologize. The public school teacher in me is being channeled right now. Let's look at the word take. There are many ways that we use the word. Take your medicine. Take me to your leader. I plan to take that class on metaphysical interpretation of the Old Testament. He's on the take. The actor nailed it on the third take. Take two and call me in the morning. No, we're not going to take it anymore. We use the word very often. It means some kind of action, some kind of behavior. There's something that is being engaged in. It. Well, what is the it? compassion, connection, the principles of unity, everything that unity teaches. Peace. Well, what was the word that Chick invited us into with the reading of the daily word today? Joyfulness, joy. That's the it. So we are taking it, embodying it, living it, speaking it, demonstrating it. But where? For only $29.99, you too can take it to the street. So where the streets? When you say the streets, what exactly do you mean? I mean into our daily lives, into all of our relationships, all of our relationships. I don't know if I mentioned this gentleman when I was with you previously, but there's this gentleman, jazz musician Daryl Davis. If you're not familiar with him, I invite you to look him up. He's an African-American gentleman who has made it part of his mission to have conversation with members of the Klan. And in those conversations, they find the common unity. And in that common unity, the Klansmen evolve in their consciousness to such a degree that they relinquish their Klan robes to him as a sign of their friendship. If that's not taking it to the streets. So when I say all of our relationships, I mean all of our relationships. Where is God? There's not a spot where God is not. The infinite and all is all and ever, everywhere. So while we may not, because I bless Daryl Davis in the work that he does, that's not mine to do. But I can bless him and refortify and know his divine power in that ministry. I can take it to the streets in how I am now sharing him with all of you. Because someone now says, wait a minute, who is this guy? How does he do this? Let me reach out. Let me learn how to have those courageous conversations. How do we live the principles of unity in our regular daily activities? When we go to the supermarket, when we are planting things for spring, when we are, training our unity pups, when we are doing whatever it is that we are doing, how are we doing it? All of our conversations. How do I convey the awareness? See, when Reverend Karen and I sit down for coffee and I see her walking in the coffee shop, my hello should convey, I see you. I see and acknowledge and recognize the divinity that you are. And that which it is as me, recognizing itself, bows to its own beauty, its own grandeur, its own joyfulness. And that's just in the hello. We ain't even ordered coffee yet. So imagine what's coming next, right? How do we ensure that the energy of this is in all that we are being? All that we are being. When we say, let's see, where do I want to start? When we say God is absolute good, everywhere present, do you recognize that everywhere present as being where you are? That God is absolute good. We are made in the image and likeness of, just like, Lois and Charles Anderson, my parents, I share their DNA. We share, we have no choice but to share the DNA, the divine natural attributes of God, because we are made in the image and likeness of. We can't help but to be. So when you see yourself in the mirror, do you see God? Do you recognize the ever-present presence of love and joy and peace right where you are? Because that's our invitation, taking it to the streets. Human beings have a spark of divinity within them. This Christ spirit within. Do you see that in yourself? Do you see that in others who may not recognize it for themselves? As Daryl Davis does with members of the Klan. He sees a version of them that they're not able to see at the present moment. And because of what he sees, he awakens that eyesight, the insight, the foresight, and the God sight within them that gives them the ability to now transform and be transmogrified into a greater expression of their own divinity. If we're not doing that, then we are only, it's like if I said, Alan, do me a favor, play any song, and Alan goes, G. Wait, that was one note. Oh, you want more? Yeah, I want the whole song. G, A. Okay, that's two. Are you teasing me? Okay, fine. G, A, G, E, G, A, G, E. Oh, okay, now we're going somewhere, okay? If we are not fully engaged in the music of divinity, then we are cheating ourselves. In the same way that if once again, if I say, Alan, do me a favor, play a song, but Jan leaves him on mute, he's jamming. And we're like, but I can't hear him. I want to hear it. I want to partake of the majesty of his gift. When we are not living in alignment, embodying that power and that presence, that's what we're doing. We are cheating ourselves and the world of the opportunity to move into that next great, grand expression of peacefulness and joy, love and compassion, gentleness. Because it's easy to talk spirituality. Yes, so I was enlightened in 1970. I sat down with Ramakrishna and Yogananda, and we had an amazing conversation. And kapow, enlightenment struck me. Now I have reached the era of I need not eat, I need not bathe, I need not do anything that is for you humans. Wait, what? Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water, do laundry, clean up puppy poop. Enlightenment. After enlightenment, clean puppy poop and all of the other stuff too, right? Enlightenment isn't but we talk about it oftentimes in spiritual circles as if enlightenment is, it's the goal. No. It's the after. It's having the realization and then living that realization in a way that changes and transforms every life that we come in contact with. By their fruit, you will recognize them. What is the fruit that is being demonstrated in our lives as we show up as the very embodiment of all that unity teaches us to be, all that New Thought offers us to be, all that the Christ presence offers us to express? I remember years ago when I was still involved in fundamental Christianity, we would say this thing as a way of getting people to, be more Christian, I guess. I don't know, whatever. And we would say, be careful how you live. You very well may be the only Bible that some people ever get to read. Well, okay, so how does that apply to us? Be mindful of how we are living. We may very well be the only example of love that someone ever experiences, witnesses, or receives. That may be us. Think of the number of LGBTQ teens and children who are right now terrified to not only come out, but to just be. To just be. Imagine how many people, once we reach a certain age in the United States of America, we become what we refer to as seniors. Yes, and I am of that age. We become seniors, senior citizens. And because of the way our culture and society is created and operates, we become invisible. We become isolated. We become lonely. We become forgotten. There are many people sitting in places right now who have no connection. And the list goes on. Be mindful of how we are walking the walk. Be mindful of how we are taking it to the streets. Be mindful of how we are showing up, because we very well may be the very example of love, of joy, of passion, of tenderness that someone else may get to experience, witness, and receive. So as we live, move, and have our beingness, as we walk the walk, the question becomes, how are we being and how are we living the very evidence of our mental equivalence? And I always plural mental equivalent and turn it into equivalence, because I may have a mental equivalent regarding money and a different one regarding relationships and a different one regarding. So I always make it plural. But our mental equivalence, I always give it 4 pillars: the thoughts and beliefs that we have, the manner in which we communicate, whether that is verbal, in sign language, in a text, doesn't matter. Communication, body language, doesn't matter. Our emotions and our feelings and our actions. How are we being and living the evidence of thoughts and beliefs that say, I know of my divine magnificence. I know who and what I am. As Carl Sagan said, you are the way the universe gets to know itself. As Meister Eckhart said, between me and God, there is no between. How are my thoughts and my beliefs aligned with that? In what way do I communicate that? How does it show up in my emotions and feelings? And what does it cause me to do? How am I showing up as a 21st century New Thought Good Samaritan who lives, moves, and has his being as the very demonstration of whatever, as Ernest Holmes says, whatever is true about God is true about you. How am I living the very demonstration of that? Charles Fillmore said, the universe was not created through illogical assumptions of law. Law is its foundation. There are no miracles in science. Jesus did no miracles. All his marvelous works were done under laws that we may learn and use as he did. Are we doing that? That's the invitation. If we are truly going to take it to the streets, then let us have conversations about what does it mean for me to operate using the same laws that Jesus used. What is my invitation? It's going to be different for different people. Alan doesn't want me sitting down at the piano playing. Neither do any of you. Trust. No, believe me. That's his divine demonstration, his gift, one of many. But what is mine? What is Cheryl's? What is Kathleen's? What is the gift, the divine demonstration that says, who, you already know, if I'm not mistaken, you know that I had surgery last April, right? And when there is a diagnosis of something you don't want, that is the time to really get grounded and say, ooh, not to blame. Well, what was in my consciousness that created this? Let that stuff go. That is not doing anyone any good, but rather to say, this is what is right now, what is now mine to do, what is mine to know, even with this thing that I don't want to experience. I don't want to experience racism, but I'm a Black gay man in the United States of America. There may be times when things come up, and I do not let them define me. I am defined by the infinite I am. See, when Moses went up the mountain and, so they're going to ask me, this is him talking to the burning bush. So when I go back down the mountain, go down yonder, you know your people, you made them. You know they're going to ask me what your name is. You got a business card, a QR code or something that I can take down to them? Because they're going to want to know. And what he was told was, I am that I am. Now, I grew up in Pittsburgh and have a lot of Jewish friends in Pittsburgh and have had many conversations with rabbis. And I was told that is not a completely accurate translation. I am that I am. It's more akin to saying, I am that I am ever becoming more of that which God is. What? I am that I am, and ever becoming more of that which God is as me, even with the diagnosis of prostate cancer, even when others cannot see the truth of my being and all they see is black skin, all they see is gay, all they see is 58 years old, all they see is whatever. That is on them, because I know the truth. Know the truth, and the truth shall what? Set you free. And when you are free, then you are far more likely, far more capable of then being the agent to help free others. Just like Harriet Tubman, enslaved, became free, could have went on about her business, doing whatever she wanted to do. But what did she do? She chose to come back and go to the very place where her life was in jeopardy in order to help others get emancipated, liberated, and free. There are no miracles. There are laws, there are divine and spiritual laws that we can learn to use just as he did. So we breathe. And I want to leave you with two things. One, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said the church must be reminded that it is not the master or the servant of the state, but rather the conscience of the state. It must be the guide and the critic of the state and never its tool. If the church does not recapture its prophetic zeal, it will become an irrelevant social club without moral or spiritual authority. And lastly, Charles Fillmore said, the true church is not made of creeds and forms, nor is it contained in walls of wood and stone. The heart of each person is its temple, and the spirit of truth is the one guide into all truth. When people learn to turn within to the spirit of truth, that which is in each one for their light and their inspiration, then the differences between the churches of people will be eliminated, and the one church will be recognized. That one church is love. It is joyfulness. It is peace. It is the power that turns possibility into probability into inevitability. And that is what we are taking to the streets. Namaste. Breathe. Simply anchoring into this divine breath, realizing that this Ruach Elohim, the breath that is God, is breathing itself as each one. We allow this breath to anchor us into the present, because we cannot breathe yesterday's breath. We cannot breathe tomorrow's breath. We can only take this divine inhale and release this divine exhale right here and right now. And as much as we would love to save a breath for a rainy day, we can't. Right here and right now, the present. Right here and right now, this breath reminds us to receive, inhale, receive love and joy. Exhale, release. Release whatever does not serve us. Release any thought forms, beliefs, or paradigms that we may have been given as hand-me-downs. If it is not life-affirming, surrender. Simply breathing. Breathing into the silence. Just as this breath was with us when we awoke this morning, just as this breath is with us now, this breath is with us, even into life after life, for that which God is cannot die. That which God is, that which Spirit is infinite, eternal, and ever expanding love, joy, and consciousness. This breath, this Ruach Elohim, this breath that is Spirit, this breath that is us incarnating itself, is life itself and is eternal. And this is our invitation. Our thoughts are prayers, and we move that into my thoughts are prayers, my emotions are prayers, my actions are prayers, my life is prayer. Life is my amen. My life is my and so it is. My life is the very demonstration of all that Spirit is as me. And just as this breath is demonstration of, so too is all of the ways I engage, all of the conversations, all of the hugs, all of the songs, all of the smiles, all of the laughs, all of the joy is demonstration that God is right where we are. For truly, wherever we are, wherever we go, whatever we do, God is. Breathe. And all is well. And so it is.